Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters for their support.
Almost everybody who knows ginseng knows Wisconsin ginseng is the best. That's in China, that's in Taiwan, that's in Hong Kong or Singapore. And also because of youth. My mom has 14 children. I was the 10th one. Her health was pretty poor. So I thought, hey, maybe I can get some pound of ginseng to my mom and to help her. So I came up here to central Wisconsin, Wausau area, and sent 2-3 pounds of roots home for my mom. A year later, my father wrote me, said, you don't believe this, but your mom took those 2-3 pounds of ginseng you sent home for 1 year. 1 year later, her digestion problems gone, diabetic problem is reduced, and arthritis also reduced, could walk very normally now, and used to not able to eat 1 bowl of rice, can eat 2-3 bowls now. So that made a believer out of me as far as how powerful ginseng could be for your health. 1976, I moved up from Fond du Lac to Wausau and bought a farm and all that. I seeded it and I do a lot of things on myself, but a lot of things I could not do myself. I started hiring the Hmong worker. So they helped me with weeding, and the Hmong kept coming for about 10-15 years. A lot of Hmong came to Wausau area. I would say between 5,000 to 6,000 people. Wausau probably the 3rd largest Hmong settlement in the United States. Out of 150,000, there's at least 5,000-6,000 over here. Without the Hmong people, we will not have the expansion of the ginseng industry.
We were a peaceful people until the war broke out and the CIA recruited us to help fight against the communists in Southeast Asia. So I was born in a refugee camp in Thailand, and then we moved to the United States when I was 5 years old. We moved to Wausau here when I was 6th grade and started farming ginseng since then. Majority of the people you see out here are the older generation, 50s and up, where they have a language barrier. They can't get jobs at factories or other places, and this is the only thing that they can do. And plus, Hmong people have been farming for generations, even before ginseng.
这里帮在这里边吃多鸟的在这那里，吃多我叫对呢，吃多我叫对的生。你过这整天，然后的你把到背靠的，我出来用这样，把到一靠的有这给这年了，然后把到们年都有我到这里，然后把们这年都有到整天弄天的，这样我也把的。
giờ ta có năm mỏ chỉ hủ cái lúc lá mỏ thì có nó rong bây giờ cái rong này là cái sản nó có nó sẽ đến nó cho你rong cho cho nó giờ cái tay lú ta khử cái rong nó là rong muốn trồng cái căng muốn trồng cái nhỏ là căng nó sẽ nằm đâu mà cho thì chỉ sản nó chỉ có cho bây giờ thầu thì mắm plan thì nó có rong thì nó
95% all the cultivated ginseng grown in the United States comes from this area. American ginseng grown in other area still not as good as grown from central Wisconsin, because central Wisconsin is blessed with that old soil in glacier time and also the weather, and that makes Wisconsin ginseng special.
I have met folks at combines and cornfields and walk-in coolers but never at an art gallery, or more specifically, the Center for Visual Arts here in Wausau, Wisconsin. But I'm here to meet Will Su of Su Ginseng and find out a little bit about this incredible crop that's grown specifically and terrifically here in Marathon County. Will Su!
Hey!
How are you, man?
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you, yeah. This is a rare and first. I've never met anyone for the show in an art gallery, and you're staring at this gorgeous sculptural, what I'm going to assume is a ginseng root.
Yeah, it's a wild ginseng plant, and this one's 50 years old, probably about 8 generations.
So just as I'm coming into my full maturity and beauty right
Yes.
now, this root has, and it's on the wall in an art museum. Why am I meeting somebody who's...
Well, so in Chinese practice, a lot of times you will see a lot of the wild ginseng roots, especially those from Asia and the Asian ginseng species, framed against a red matte background.
Yeah, and they're all around. I mean,
Yeah,
they're,
we've got
they're
8 or
beautiful.
9 pieces here, and then
Beautiful.
you'll also see some watercolors, which is a more traditional Chinese painting style. These products have been used together in China for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Yeah.
American ginseng only within the last 300 years,
Right.
but Asian ginseng has been used in China as both food and medicine for probably over 1,000 years. This is the epicenter of ginseng. It's the heart of ginseng country. And the reason why is ginseng was first cultivated here over 100 years ago by the Fromm brothers.
Fromm brothers, yeah.
And
yeah.
they established the industry here, and the industry has been here ever since. So when you're talking about individual roots that could be worth, 20, 30, 50, even upwards of $100 each,
Yeah.
you kind of have to take a step back and say, why is someone paying for this food item?
Yeah.
Or why is someone willing to pay for this? And it's because it's also medicine. That you have to take it, you consume it every day, you take it as part of our culture and tradition. It's like a multivitamin.
Yeah,
I would
okay.
look at it as
Yeah.
a
Oh, good.
multivitamin.
Okay, so that's
Something
how they see
they
it.
would take a cup of tea every day in the morning. No, I think it's no different than we consume maybe even coffee.
So from here we go from gorgeous art gallery downtown Wausau to get our hands dirty
On the farm.
somewhere on the farm.
Yep.
Love it. This will not be the first time I've been taken to the farm where Will and Kyle have to sing for their supper and actually harvest.
We'll have to dig some
Yeah,
ourselves.
I love it.
And then there's a dinner tonight featuring fresh harvested ginseng that we're going to go out and harvest. And then that's kind of the idea behind, kind of previewing some of the culinary ways that you can use this product.
Yeah.
But in American culture, we aren't used to cooking with ginseng.
Right.
I think it's probably very comparable to how we weren't used to cooking with fresh garlic probably 20 or 30 years
Okay,
ago.
I was thinking like ginger, but more like I get it. So fresh garlic and those
Yeah,
types of, yeah.
We want to try to showcase it and feature it, so we're really trying to make it approachable.
I'm
So,
just, rest of the day I'm gonna roll, I'm with this guy.
All right.
That's my move.
let's go.
Will,
Hey,
this is like shady,
welcome to the farm.
shady Tuscany of ginseng. Like it's not what I imagined it would look like.
So this is black or artificial shade cloth that we use. It's about 80% shade, roughly.
Okay.
Just
ginseng likes that.
And ginseng needs the shade because it needs to simulate the kind of wood setting.
The temp change when you get underneath the shade is pretty significant.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, it depends on the wind and the weather conditions. Sometimes it's cooler, sometimes it's warmer. More often, it's warmer.
Yeah.
So these are the seeds. They're ready for and ripe for picking, you can tell based on the color. Now, the thing with seeds is that these have to be stratified for a year. So we will pick the seeds this year. We'll plant them next summer, typically July, August, and then they won't actually germinate and send up their first leaves until the spring of the following year. So if you think about that sequence, seeds you pick in 2018, you'd plant in 2019,
You don't even see evidence until
and you
2020.
wouldn't see anything come out of the ground until 2020.
You are a patient man, Will Su.
That's why we always say you got to be a little bit crazy to grow ginseng.
Well, all right, so let's dig
Should
one
we dig
up.
some roots
Yeah.
out? This one's actually beautiful. This is very rare because you got a 5-pronged plant like this.
Uh-huh. What does
Because
that tell you?
it tells you that the root's at least 5 years old.
Oh, cool. How long have you been doing this? How young were you when you
I
started?
grew up working in the field, so all the things we were talking about, picking seeds and pulling weeds and all that stuff, when my parents didn't have the labor, I was the labor.
Oh, look at that.
So if you were digging this one in the wild, you'd be down on your hands and knees and kind of going, you know, feeling around, and just look at the girth of that one, and you can just tell how much bigger that one is.
And you don't
be.
want to miss out on any of these little wispy parts of the root, right?
Nope. So I mean, ideally, yeah. I mean, depends on what time you want to get to dinner.
Oh, look at that. Look at all the earth that's moving. That is a big old root.
So what happens is, and I can feel that the taproot is still dropped, that this taproot is still dropped off.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at that.
So that's what you're going after.
That's the size of a decent carrot. That is major.
It only took 5 years to get that big.
This is a very good yield for you, correct?
That's what you want. That's
Yeah.
what you'd love to have. If you could have every single root like that after 5 years.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're growing, you know, small, you're growing 3-year-olds, and you just see the growth difference
Right.
that can happen if you let them go.
Yeah.
So that's just the variety that you get just from digging in, you know, a few square inches.
Sure. This is very cool. This is very cool. And Chef can use this tonight at dinner.
Yep. Bag them up.
We maybe like tour a little bit of where things are dried and check out your offices, and then head to
check
dinner.
out and look what the finished product looked like to most of our customers and has looked like for the last, you know, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
And then we can go to dinner and you can see the difference maybe between dried ginseng and fresh ginseng.
I like that. So I'm guessing this is your place.
This is the office.
Cool.
So this is one of our main warehouses here in Wausau. And we're fast forwarding through the whole washing and drying process, and we're looking at roots that were already harvested and kind of dried and barreled.
Whoa!
So that's what it looks like when it's dried.
Very cool.
So you can see how, you know, this root was probably similar in size to one of the ones that we dug earlier, and it
Yeah.
shrinks down about, you know, about 2/3.
That's extraordinary.
Yep.
That's extraordinary. All of the hard work that I heard that your family puts in to harvest, and then to have it come to this, like 2/3 less.
Yeah, in terms of fresh weight,
Right.
but we still pay on the dried weight. You know, the farmer and the industry has been based on this dried weight for
Okay.
a number of years, so we're used to it. But you'll see that, you know, these are longer, straighter roots. A lot of those kind of fine fibers have been removed from the product as they get tumbled and in the drying process. And so then this is what ends up being trimmed, and these roots will be trimmed by hand. So what will happen is someone will come in with almost like a pruning shears or a clipper, and they will clip it off roughly about there.
So what happens with that little bit?
So that little bit that gets left, the
Right
little
here.
piece that gets left over, these can be turned into tea or powder or other finished products.
Okay.
We'll use this a lot in, you know, kind of processed or
Nothing
manufactured
wasted.
product. You're not going to waste it because you pay for everything. You pay for the fiber, you pay for these, what we call prongs, and so you need to use every little bit. Yep. So this drum right here being about 140 pounds, you know, based on last year prices, you're looking at $5,000 to $6,000 worth of product.
Right here.
Right here in one drum.
Wow.
And that's the payoff for, you know, 4 to 5 years of growing. So
Love it.
that's
Love
the
it.
product before it gets kind of trimmed and packaged by hand.
Yeah.
And now I can take you to see what that product looks like once it's kind of ready for gift giving or what a customer would expect to see on the shelf. So yeah, gift shop and product display.
Yeah, this is the pretty room.
Yeah, this is what the final product looks like after 5 or 6 years of hard work. So we grade into about 30 different sizes. It's all trimmed by hand, all
Okay.
packaged by hand.
Wow.
And you'll notice the consistency.
Yeah.
And that's because different geographies prefer product of different size and shape based on what they
Interesting.
used. But it's an expensive product, but that's why we also do things like tea. This is one of our best-selling products right here. Not only because it's an affordable product and use it every day,
Yeah.
but it's, you know, it's convenient for customers.
So from here, we go to dinner, correct?
All right, let's
Yeah.
go to dinner.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's see how the product tastes.
I've been harvesting in the fields, man. I'm hungry.
All right, let's
Yeah.
do it. Well, here we are, Kyle. City Grill for ginseng dinner.
Right on. Hey, Chef.
How's it going?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I brought you kind of well, they're straight from the field. Like, you can't get more straight from the field than this.
It is a little bit dirty, isn't it?
This is fresh ginseng, but I know that you've got your ways and means with this.
Definitely,
And,
definitely. I think we're gonna clean that up.
Let's get to
Looks
the
like
heart of the
something I'd like to
matter.
candy.
Yeah, cool.
Well, let's go wash this up.
Cool.
Get going on
All
it.
right.
I'd basically kind of peel off all the long strands and kind of get down to these base roots. And for the candying process, I like to take it and I take kind of a cheese grater and I grate it. So we won't be getting rid of these little parts. We'll use these somewhere else. But this main part is kind of what I wanted to get at, because it's a little bit easier to do what we're going to do today. I'm choosing to candy it because it kind of offsets the harshness of the flavor of the ginseng, because the ginseng is kind of a strong flavor and the sugar complements it nicely. I met Will last year for the first time during the Ginseng Festival, and him and I have done a few different things with ginseng, as I know food and he knows ginseng, and he has brought lots of people here to entertain them, and I appreciate it. Ginseng incorporated with food, you just have to kind of find something that offsets it, that complements to your palate. So if you like the harshness of it, then it's fine in its own natural state. To me, I kind of bury it in other flavors like chocolate or, you know, a sugary kind of substance. I don't ever get to play with it a lot, so it's kind of fun to infuse this in this dinner menu tonight. It's not something that's on my typical menu. So these are 2-ounce Wagyu beef sliders, and we're putting them on a bao bun. They have a ginseng and garlic pepper jack cheese. It's Meister Creamery, it's out of La Crosse, and they make a ginseng garlic pepper jack cheese. It's delicious. The bao bun is kind of a sticky bun. You can steam these, or you can deep fry them. We chose to deep fry them to give them kind of a crispier texture to it, because you have Wagyu is a soft beef, and it has a lot of fat marbled in it. So this bun's gonna be the crispness. Typically a burger would have kind of a crispness. This is kind of gonna melt in your mouth.
So this is a Wagyu slider with a fried bao bun and ginseng. Where?
The ginseng is in the cheese.
In the cheese, oh, right on. And then we've got a Bull Falls beer, but there's ginseng in the beer.
So this is a ginseng Hefeweizen.
Well, let's start with that,
cheers.
my friend. Here's to a great day of touring ginseng fields and... Oh, that's great.
Do you get the ginseng taste?
Totally, and that is really good.
Yep.
That is really good.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's give this a try.
I don't know about you. I don't really get the ginseng, but it's a darn fine slider.
Mm-hmm. I picked up a little bit of the ginseng and the cheese. Kind of the sweet chili hot is nice too.
Yeah, that is really good.
I like the kind of homage to the Asian culture with that bao bun, but it's fried. So.
And they got a crisp on there perfectly, yeah. I think it just took a while because by the fourth and fifth bite, I got ginseng wonderfully pronounced.
So you'll find that with ginseng is that it really accentuates, because we're, as Americans in particular, we're so not used to having bitter on the profile of the food that we eat, especially mixed in, right? When you think about bitter, you think about things you consume as bitter, whether that be bitter tonic, whether that would be coffee or beer, and a lot of times it's in beverage form. We don't cook with bitter in food a lot.
A dark chocolate, but that's how you finish the meal.
Right, and it's sweet, and it's still typically a little bit sweet.
After a long day on the farm, burgers and beer, we could do worse, right?
Yeah. Cheers.
So what we have is a fried risotto cake. Then we have a Chilean sea bass over here, and we have that Wagyu from the Draft Family Farms right there. And that's going to be paired with 2 different sauces. So we infused a ginseng, dried ginseng, into the demi-glace sauce that's going with the steak. And we have made a classically French sauce, a beurre blanc, and we've infused ginseng in that as well. So you have ginseng in each one of the complementing sauces to go with your protein.
Wow, this is beautiful.
This is a really nice plate.
And then this is a ginseng flavored or infused whiskey sour.
Yeah. So this is Great Northern Distillery out of Plover.
Okay.
They did a ginseng whiskey using fresh ginseng with a double infusion.
I've traveled the state and eaten a lot of and drank a lot of great things, but I love drinking your work.
No problem. Here's to drinking to work.
Oh, that's nice. That's really subtle. It does have that little bitter grip, but it's more, at least for me, olfactory, and then it works really well with the sour.
Yeah, the sour is really nice.
That's really nice. Bon appetit, my friend.
Yes.
So I'm gonna get some fish.
That's fish.
With this beurre blanc and raspberry caviar, and that's really where the ginseng should be concentrated, so it shouldn't take much. Wow. That's very cool. It's buttery. It's herbal. Has that kind of bitter, almost it's strong, but then it fades back right away.
Yep.
Chef really used that well.
Yep.
And then it has that creamy overtone.
And then you get a little bit of sweet from the raspberry caviar.
Yeah, that's really nicely done.
And you can taste some of the ginseng on the asparagus.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because you don't get that bitter. You know,
absolutely.
you get all the flavor of the asparagus, and then
Yeah.
you get the bitter of the ginseng.
I have been exposed to so many new ways to cook and prepare with ginseng tonight.
I mean, the nice thing is you can move almost from item to item on this plate,
Yeah.
and it's just a very nice progression of different flavors.
Will, here's the roots that come out of the ground.
Here's to your health.
Here's the Wisconsin ginseng. Yeah. Cheers.
Here's to Wisconsin. We had a grower in Washington State who used our seeds back in the 90s and grew. This is a kind of a wood sculpture of
This
what
is
that root originally looked like. And over time, 20 years later, what's happened is that the root kind of
Oh,
degraded.
that's it, though.
That's pieces of it.
But still, I mean, I was digging
You
with
can
you in
kinda
the
see,
fields
yeah.
today. This is
The-
a big
2 pounds, over 2 pounds.
Jeez.
Guinness World Record. And so when he passed away, his widow contacted us
Yeah.
and asked if she could return the root to us because she didn't really have a use for it.
Yeah.
And so we flew her out here and she kind of showed her around and showed her kind of what we do. And she brought the Guinness World Record back to us.